Happy Thursday and welcome to the SWBN News Watch, where we report global events from a Christian perspective. I am Chimela Chike. Thanks for joining us tonight. For our first story, Fox News reported that European politician Vera Jourova warned Elon Musk from the World Economic Forum in Davos that Twitter will face sanctions if it does not shut down some forms of speech. Jourova, the European Commission's Vice President for Values and Transparency, told Euronews Next that Twitter may face penalties for enabling free speech in violation of European Union regulations. In other words, the time of the Wild West is over. Still in Davos, CBN News reported that laws against hate speech could be coming soon to America as the U.S. moves one step further in censoring hate speech. Jourova said this during a panel titled "Clear and Present Danger of Disinformation" at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. A.J. Sulzberger, publisher of the New York Times, claimed during the panel that disinformation, misinformation, conspiracy theories, clickbait, and propaganda leads to every other major challenge that we are grappling with as a society, and particularly the most existential among them. Adding to that, Sulzberger was quoted as saying disinformation is the most existential problem the world is facing because it is attacking trust and causing the societies to fracture. The Western Standard and Fox News reported the story. Still on this, the Epoch Times added that U.S. Senator Joe Manchin told Davos attendees that the problem in today's society was the open press system. In his words, quote, "The problem that we have is the open press system and basically all the platforms. This," he said, "allows people to express views that are extremely right or extremely left, and it seems like they are the majority speaking. They are not the majority," end of quote. Meanwhile, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres recently accused social media platforms and those who advertise on them of being complicit in accelerating extremism like anti-Semitism, racism, anti-Muslim bigotry, xenophobia, homophobia, and misogyny. From what we have read so far, who do you think is the target for this incoming hate speech law in the United States? Let us know your thoughts. In North Korea, the United States Commission on International Religious Freedom, USCIRF, has detailed how the Workers' Party of Korea, led by Kim Jong-un, had targeted and tortured Christians and other people of faith while going to great lengths to conceal its crimes, FaithWire reported. The report spelled out the acts of terror committed by the regime, which were designed to remove all traces of Christianity. USCIRF reported the campaign to exterminate all Christian adherents and institutions has been brutally effective. North Korea's secret police, the Ministry of State Security, are incentivized with promotions when they apprehend Christians and other religious groups. During a webinar hosted by USCIRF, an investigator with the Korea Future Initiative, Angel Wang, testified that, quote, "Those charged with Christianity often face executions or are forced to live out the rest of their lives in political prison camps," unquote. Hwang has interviewed North Korean defectors who have experienced or have first-hand knowledge of abuse. He recalled how one victim was arrested for the possession of a Bible, detained in solitary confinement, and beaten with a metal rod used for cleaning rifles. Christians are the most persecuted because of the faith's association with the United States and Europe. Undercover government spies search for any evidence of worship, making it impossible for Korean Christians to congregate without being reported. Meanwhile, FaithWire reported that even children are taught from a young age to be suspicious of Christianity. Son Yoon-yu, co-director of Korea Future Initiative, said, quote, "In schools, young children are taught that Christian missionaries are spies of the countries who seek opportunities to invade North Korea, and they are shown graphic images of missionaries sucking the blood of children to show how malicious they are. They are taken to state-run exhibition halls where religious adherents are presented as murderers, spies, and where Bibles are displayed as trophies taken from enemies of the state," end of quote. Despite the harsh treatment of Christians in North Korea, USCIRF Commissioner Fred Davey has said people still choose to believe. He wants the world to know that the USCIRF is painstakingly documenting these abuses and the persecuted are not forgotten. In a recent development, CBN News reported that Satanism has been on the rise in the United Kingdom for the past several years as the number of people who identify as Christian declines. In the past, the word Satanism has often conjured up images of occult rituals, blood oaths, sexual perversions, animal or human sacrifice, and worshipping the devil. Today's trendier brand of Satanists have tried to distance themselves from the more disturbing rituals of traditional satanic practice. Their sanitized version of darkness is appealing to young people and engaging them, giving them the opportunity to advocate for issues like gender dysphoria and sexual divergence, CBN News added. Meanwhile, the Sunday Telegraph reported that Satanism is luring an increasing number of young people disillusioned with outdated and dogmatic traditional religions to join its fold by offering an alternative to stuffy traditional faiths. The Global Order of Satan United Kingdom is one of such organizations and claims it has seen a 200% increase in membership over the last 5 years, the Telegraph reported. Chaplain Leopold, a 32-year-old London-based undertaker, told the Telegraph that two factors are responsible for new Satanism's rise. First, the decreasing popularity of traditional dogmatic religions, and second, a movement towards self-identification and self-realization. Leopold contends that, quote, this is particularly amongst younger people who don't want to be identified as part of a prescriptive dogmatic religion and rather want to identify as their own self-beliefs and self-realization, which is what Satanism offers, unquote. He further added that they often say they are, quote, the religion for those who don't like the oppression of previous religions, end of quote. According to the UK Office for National Statistics, ONS census published in November, the number of people in England and Wales identifying as Satanists saw a 167% increase between 2011 and 2021, up from 1,893 to 5,054. At the same time, the number of Christians dropped so low that they now account for less than half of England and Wales' population for the first time in census history, the Telegraph reported. Professor Linda Woodhead, head of the Department of Theology and Religious Studies at King's College, London, told the outlet Satanism is a young person's religion, but that the bigger phenomenon we are seeing is the incredible diversification of the religious and spiritual landscape. There is now a lot of solitary exploration, particularly with the internet, and you can find anything to fit your particular identity, interest, values, or beliefs. The new Satanists say they do not believe in God, but instead hold up the belief as a religion of the self. They believe that it is up to individuals to find their own moral code and develop themselves as their own Godheads. What do you think about this story? Are you observing the same trends among young people? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Besides, let us keep praying that the light of Yeshua will shine upon the younger generation. Stay with us. In Southern Europe, a Maltese Christian charity worker is facing criminal charges for allegedly promoting conversion practices in his own country during an online interview about how he chose to live his former homosexual lifestyle after finding salvation in Jesus Christ, CBN News reported. The Christian Legal Center, CLC, reports it is representing Matthew Gregg, who faces up to 5 months in prison and almost $5,500 in fines if convicted. The faith-based non-profit law firm called Gregg's case the first ever prosecution for conversion practices in Malta. His trial is scheduled for February 3rd at the Court of Magistrates in Valletta, along with the hosts of a local free speech media outlet, PM News Malta. Greg is a trustee of Core Issues Trust, which works closely with the International Federation for Therapeutic and Counseling Choice and X Out Loud. His legal problem began after he told his ex-gay's testimony during an online interview that was advertised on Facebook. During the media interview, he shared a story about his childhood and the confusion he had experienced when it came to his own sexuality and relationships. He spoke about how, as an adult, he had been involved in homosexual relationships before becoming a Christian, which changes life dramatically. Greg spoke about how he does not agree with the term conversion therapy and said that the deeper he went into his Christian faith and explored the Bible, the more he understood that in the Bible, homosexuality is not an identity, and we make it nowadays, and neither is it a feeling but a practice. After the interview, police pressed criminal charges against him for allegedly advertising conversion practices. At no point during the interview did Greg invite any listener to attend therapy or encourage anyone to get help for unwanted same-sex attraction. This is backed up by a transcript from PM News Malta. Greg believes he's being targeted by members of the Malta gay rights movement who think that Christian beliefs on marriage and human identity and any debate surrounding LGBTQ lifestyles should be treated as a criminal offense. CLC attorneys say the freedom of the press in Malta is on the line and that anyone who wants help for unwanted same-sex attraction, which is a protected characteristic, will be suppressed and driven underground. The attorneys argue that the charges against Greg violate his fundamental human right to freedom of expression safeguarded under Article 41 of the Constitution of Malta and Article 10 of the European Convention on Human Rights, ECHR. For final story in this edition of the SWBN News Watch, the assailants attacked a Christian church during a Sunday service in Nigeria, shooting and wounding its pastor while kidnapping more than 24 people. The incident occurred around 7 a.m. at the New Life for All Church in Kankara local government area of Katsina State, just as people had gathered for worship services, The Guardian had reported. Reverend Ishaya Jarrao, the Senior Special Assistant SSA to the state governor, described the government as terrorists, telling reporters that they had abducted 25 worshippers and left the church pastor with injuries while they were conducting services. Jarrao also added that 9 of the abducted people were able to escape and had returned to the community. Following the attacks, state security personnel had doubled their efforts to seek the release of the rest of the victims, he said. However, SP Gambo Issa, the spokesperson for the police command, confirmed the attack but said only 5 women were abducted. The Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, HURIWA, said the attack on the Kankara church was a part of a coordinated series of attacks by terrorists over the last 7 years against the Christian faith. Open Doors USA's 2023 World Watch list ranks Nigeria as the 6th most dangerous place in the world to live as a Christian. This is where we wrap up for tonight's edition of the SWBN News Watch. Till we meet next Thursday, 9 p.m. I am Chimla Chike. Thanks for choosing SWBN TV.